So is the GROM VLine 2 worth $600 US? And the question is, it comes down to what you care about and what you'll appreciate. So for example, an audiophile will notice and appreciate the difference between a $100 speaker and a $10,000 speaker. They will notice and appreciate, they will notice the $9,000 extra that they are spending. And somebody else will not notice the difference, and they will not appreciate the difference. And it's like me and wine, for example. I could not tell an expensive wine from a cheap wine. It's not worth paying the extra for me because I'm not going to notice anything different. And it's the same with the GROM VLine 2. It is expensive. And unless you appreciate certain things about it, it might not be worth the money, or it might. So I've got 8 things that I'm going to bring up that I think, for me, that I do care about and why I did justify spending the money on the GROM VLine 2. So the first thing is that I really like a tidy cabin where everything is all closed and compact and clean and free of cables hanging around everywhere. CarPlay is great, and I have my phone plugged in the center console, and it's charging. And the great thing is that if I unplug it, it keeps playing, and that's because it's wireless CarPlay. And so for most trips, it charges when I'm driving, and for shorter trips, I don't bother charging it. There's just no need to, and it's so convenient because you just get into your car, and it all connects automatically, and it starts up automatically, and all your music is there, everything's there. So it's very handy when you jump in and out of your car. And for longer trips, of course, then I will charge it. The next step is to buy a wireless charger, and so I probably will get one, and I'll plonk it in there, and I can put my phone in there and not worry about having to plug anything in. So the second thing that I really care about is I don't like having phone holders either on your windshield or mounted anywhere along here. It just, to me, nah. So the third thing that I really care about is being able to browse the music on here and change artists and playlists and apps. So I've got obviously audio books, I've got my music in here, I can jump in, I can go now playing, I can go back and change artists and playlists and so forth. And if I want to go to something else, to tune in app, I can go there. Now if I have Bluetooth cannot do that. Bluetooth can only pause songs, go to the next track, go to the previous track. Bluetooth is very limited in terms of that. So that's something that I really, really value, is being able to browse all the different music and switch it in a nice interface where buttons are nice and clear, and I don't have to do too much checking on here while I'm driving. So the fourth thing is navigation, and I like having a nice GPS on a nice big screen where if I go here I can see where I'm driving, and I don't need to pull my phone out or whatever. The stock head unit does have a GPS in it, but it's quite dated, of course. It doesn't have traffic, so again, having CarPlay through the GROM VLine allows me to have all the latest apps that are out there for GPS. So the fifth thing that I care about is the ability to play videos while we're driving, and so my wife can watch something whether we're in traffic or on a long road trip. So the sixth thing I care about is I don't want a head unit that's going to take over all of the controls and replace the original OEM one. And the reason is because if it crashes, you've lost your climate control, you've lost all the stock features that you've got, and it gets a bit awkward. So the great thing about the GROM VLine 2 is that I have all the factory stuff on here. I'm browsing here in the GROM area, but if I press on air conditioning, of course, it takes me back to all that. All the factory stuff is all here. All the other options, of course, it's in Japanese here, but I've got all the other options that I want to access. They're all available there, and I can switch back, straight back to the GROM VLine head unit. If I go back to here and change to my inputs, I'm back here again. So because the GROM and Apple CarPlay do pretty much everything that this head unit does, I leave it all the time on this screen. And with air conditioning, I could go to the air conditioning screen and come back, but of course if I press the auto button, then it's automatic, and I can simply use these physical buttons. And of course, the way automatic AC works is that, you know, it will control the fan speed by itself. And as you can hear, I don't need to worry about going to the AC screen to change any of the fan speed. I just let the car do it itself.
There are some aftermarket units like this one which allows you to keep your factory head unit and allows you to mount a standard doubled-in head unit at the bottom. But personally, I think it looks a bit awkward down there, and it's too low, and it should be higher up in your line of sight, whether you're navigating with it or interacting with the audio controls, or whether other people are watching something on that screen.
So the seventh thing I care about is I want this interface to look modern and tidy. And the problem with a lot of the other head units that are out there is that they have some real crap Chinese cheap looking Android thing that looks really tacky. It may function okay, but it looks like a real aftermarket solution. Whereas in having Apple CarPlay on here, I've got all my, you know, music and apps and all that, and it looks modern. It's 2021, and yeah, it just looks nicer. And the last reason, the eighth reason, or eighth thing I care about is I do a lot of driving. So I drive a lot, whether it's to work or around Auckland. I drive a lot. We go on a lot of long road trips. So I get a lot of use out of this. If you are just in the car for 10 minutes a day or whatever, you're not going to be using this a great deal, and you're not going to be changing playlists and apps and all that very often. So for me, I get a lot out of this. But if you don't do a lot of driving, it might not be worth it. So those are the sort of main 8 things that I really care about, and the GROM VLine 2 was the only solution that ticked all those boxes. And that's why I feel, and plus I'm going to keep this car for a while. So for those reasons, I felt for me it was worth the money. If you don't care about those things, if you're happy with a phone holder on here, if you're happy with the aux, if you're happy with Bluetooth or whatever, then I would not recommend it, because it's not worth spending all the money for that. So that's my opinion, and I hope this video has been helpful and helping you to decide whether you think it's worth buying the GROM VLine 2 or not. Thanks for watching.